Today we're going to be doing the top 12 books of each month of 2024. We're going to get straight into it because obviously I've got 12 books to talk about and I'm definitely going to yap too much as per. Wow, look at the sun coming up. Ooh. Starting off so strong. I started 2024 with the 𝘴𝘰𝘤𝘪𝘢 series, so you already know what is coming. I started January with Mist and Fury, my favourite book to date. This book eats. It eats. I could not describe how this book makes me feel. To be honest, if you were to ask me, Alice, what is this book about? I would not be able to tell you. It is a fever dream. I floated through this book. I basically only started book talk because of this book, so there you have it. If that's not a sign to read this book, I don't know what it is. If you haven't already read 𝘴𝘰𝘤𝘪𝘢, I assume you have, and if you haven't, you should. It's basically a big fantasy series, really popular on TikTok. It's about Feyre, our main character, realises her worth, and it's a lot of found family. That's me literally skimming the damn surface because I don't want to explain too much because the plot twists and the plot, it's one of them books you have to read. Please just go into it blind because this will be the best series you possibly ever read. Then for February, we've got 𝘴𝘰𝘤𝘪𝘢. I won't lie, I wasn't massive on this book. I only gave it 3 stars, I think. Feyre's now settled, she's got her lover, she's got her friends, and now there's a big war going on. This one is very plot heavy, very war heavy, which is not really my vibe, but it is really good, really well written out, really funny actually. There's a lot of funny scenes in it. Excuse the angle change, the sun was blinding me. I've never actually mentioned this book once on this channel, so I thought this is a nice little introduction. I actually am a massive Elton John fan. And if anyone else is, please let me know, because it's one of them things that people laugh about it, but I'm like, girl, he's literally my king. Camera angle change part 2, because the sun is really grinding my gears. So this is an autobiography about Elton John's life. He has quite a deep story that he went through, but the fact he came up the other side is so inspiring. If I'm ever feeling down or I feel like I don't know what to do with myself, I just feel like low, I will watch Rocket Man because it makes me feel so flipping inspired, because this man has been through a lot and he's still come out the other side. So we love that for him. You're laughing, you're crying, you're smiling. It has all the emotions and it was so interesting and written so well. Also a couple pages with his pictures of Elton and other celebrities. And that's one of the most interesting things about this book is you're not only finding out about Elton's life, you're also getting a little insight to the celebrity lifestyle. Oh, like he had dinner with John Travolta. I was like, you know him? Like, I always forget celebrities usually all actually know each other. And it always blows my mind when worlds collide. I'm like, huh? You know her? Tracy Turnblad. April, my birthday month, Aries season. We started the iconic Throne of Glass series. However, Assassin's Blade is not the one we're picking today. We're picking Throne of Glass. Because as much as I actually loved Assassin's Blade and I gave it 4 stars, because Assassin's Blade is obviously just loads of little novellas, it's just not the same vibe. This is the first full proper book of the series and Lord was it good. Obviously personally for me it's still only a 4 stars, but I can appreciate it's a great plot. I can appreciate the characters and how well written. The sun is grinding my gears. We've only gone and done it again. This is the 4th time we've now moved cameras. I'm so sorry, but I'm hoping it's keeping you engaged actually. This is a message for Sergio Mas and Sergio Mas only. You killed this. I don't know if you thought about the plot ahead of the whole series or you make it up as you go along, but either way, your brain. At the beginning of the book, Selena is in the salt mines of Endovia working as a slave, and then she gets taken to the king's castle and is told if you fight as the king's champion, you don't have to go back as a slave and you can stay here and live in the castle. And obviously, even though she doesn't want to work for the king because no one likes the king, it's better than being in there. Crown of Midnight. This was, I believe this to be my favourite book of the series so far. It's still only a 4 stars. I think it was more of a 4.5 that I gave it. What you'll find with Throne of Glass is there's certain books that have similar vibes. Assassin's Blade, Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight are kind of all like a little trio of a similar style writing and similar vibe. There's death, there's sadness, there's friendship, there's love, but also not so great love at the end. June, I was on a holiday in Tenerife by the pool reading some fun little books. And this was my favourite one that I read. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. She ate. Although I have read the second one of this series, I did not like it at all. But this one was a 4 stars. I had the same, I can't remember what song it was, but I had the same song on repeat on the aeroplane, bawling my eyes out reading the last like 5 chapters because it was an incredible ending. This is a thriller murder mystery, but it is young adult. We're following a girl called Pip and she is really interested by this case that happened a couple years ago in her town where a bully called Andy Bell went missing. The case got closed, everyone moved on. Pip did not. She's doing her project for school based on the case, some stuff come to the surface where she's like, this seems sus, and she gets the case reopened. Tell me that ain't a slay. The plot twists were incredible. I did not guess any of it. July. This book changed my life. I'm not the sort of person to buy special editions ever, but you fucking bet I did. Look how gorgeous this book is. Mark my words, Prince, I will be your undoing. Kicking my feet. But this is the OG cover. We have Powerless by Lauren Roberts. Oh my god. I gave this a 5 stars, as well as the novella and Reckless. And then also Phyllis comes out in April this year. So we're following Payden, a classic silver-haired main female character, strong lead, 10-10, dagger on the thigh. She is an ordinary and has no powers, but she pretends to be a psychic because people in this world, if you don't have powers, you're banished. She's thrown into the Purging Trials, which is a brutal competition showcasing the elite's power, and the elites are everyone with the powers. And obviously she's an ordinary, so she has 0 powers. She's like, the fuck, I'm gonna die. I just love it. It's just cat and mouse, enemies to lovers, angst, like proper good stuff. It's another 5-star book that made my whole personality. Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I will never, ever shut up about this concept. The book, the show, the music, the Spotify playlist. It's written about the past, but because it's interview style, it's said in the present. So it's really bizarre and it works perfect for my taste in books. This is my first ever interview style book I've ever read, and boy did I eat this up. So we're following Daisy Jones and a band called The Six. Daisy Jones joins The Six. She's like a little feature on a few of their songs. Billy Dunn, the main member as he calls himself, of The Six, Loki hates her. One, because he fancies her and he won't admit to himself, and he also has another girlfriend and a kid. It's just totally real life, very realistic. And it's also inspiring as a woman to watch other women succeed, so we love that. September. This was one of my first ever proper romance books that I read, and that is The Hating Game. Am I okay? We're following Lucy and Josh, and they sit at the same desk in the same office, forced proximity, and they hate each other. When you're reading this book, you are convinced they actually do hate each other, but obviously, because it's a romance, you kind of know they are going to fall in love. But it's done so well, you're like, do they though? And then by the end, first of all, it's just really funny. Like, it is a funny book, you're laughing out loud, very realistic, very modern. And then this last little chunk, once they're in love, there's some like plot twists where you're like, oh, holy shite. If you just need a good romance filler that's funny, you're gonna love this, and I would recommend it to most people. October, we've got Empire Storms, also from the Throne of Glass series. Obviously, I feel like I've mentioned almost all the books besides Air of Fire. It's one of the books in the series that made me think, hang on, maybe I do love this series. This book was so good. No one speaks about this book in the series. No one ever mentioned it. I see it nowhere. But this book is so underrated. It was so good. There's always boring parts in these big fantasy books because they're so big, you're kind of guaranteed to get some slow parts, but also it does help with the plot. And I love Allied's chapters, she's an absolute queen. And it was just very full on, which I need, especially with a 600-page book. Or dare I say 7? No, 600. November, we've got Carrie Soto is Back. This book is one of them books where I did enjoy it, but it left my mind the second I put it down. It's very feminist, it's very inspiring. We're following Carrie Soto. She's a tennis player. Someone has just taken her spot as the greatest tennis player of all time, and she's pissed. She's also like 30 something, which I believe is quite old to be a tennis player. At least it's how it's portrayed in this book. Carrie goes back into the tennis world. She fights for her spot back, and she's determined to be the best tennis player alive again. She is so sure of herself that she goes for it. It's sweet in the way that you're watching her bond with her dad again. You're watching her be very self-fulfilled and self-confident. The shadow work side of it is that Carrie is never fulfilled. The second she achieves something, she wants the next thing, and she never really sits in her success and appreciates and admires it. She always just wants to be better and better and better. And last but not least, to finish off the year, in December, I read Tower of Dawn. I just finished this book and I was so glad to finish. I did enjoy it, but it's big and I was getting bored of it, to be quite honest. I just wanted something new and a change. However, this is actually one of my favourite books in the series, even though Cole has quite a bad stick around him for some reason. Obviously, things do happen in the series where you're like, be so for real, mate. This book, he does get his redemption arc, and you do see his side of things and you see his thought process, and you're like, I guess you're kind of sweet, whatever. You also get 𝘴𝘰𝘤𝘪𝘢, who is in the very first book of the series, and she's never mentioned again, which is, she's my fave! She's my fave. Like, dare I say I love 𝘴𝘰𝘤𝘪𝘢 more than Aelin? Is that a bold statement? Yes, but do I sit by that? Potentially. I love her so much. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you got some inspo. I also want to thank anyone who might have possibly recommended any of these, because 2024 was my first year of properly indulging in books and reading the whole entire year, and it was one of the best years of my life. I cannot wait to see what 2025 has in store for us book-wise. Fearless, she's gonna eat. See you later, my loves.